Jai Hind to all. Myself Shikha Agarwal, Assistant Professor in Ajay Kumar Engineering College. I'm from IT department. So today we are going to discuss one more topic of data structure, that is in applications of binary trees. Basically, when I'm talking about the application of binary trees, there are the various applications. But today in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the two things. The first is Huffman coding and the second is threaded binary tree, right? So basically in this, when I'm talking about the applications of Huffman coding binary tree, so here we are going to discuss about the Huffman coding. Basically here we are going to discuss about its theory, its algorithm, and then after that I will solve our numerical so that we will be easy to understand how the Huffman coding works. When I'm talking about an Huffman coding, basically it is used to compress the data without losing any detail. As we know, there are the various data compression techniques like lossy and lossless. So into this, when I'm talking about the lossless, in which whatever the things we have compressed, we are getting into the similar manner. Then we are talking about the lossless data compression technique. So similarly, Huffman coding is that algorithm which is being used to compress the data without losing its details. And that is why this is called as a lossless data compression technique. When I'm talking about this particular algorithm, into this a variable length code is being assigned in which we have to put the different characters and their length is to be varied, right? Suppose if I'm using a letter A, its length is let's say 5 and so on. So similarly, when we are having a different variables and their length is to be very different and we have to assign the values to these different characters. And on the basis of that, we have to check how frequently that character is being appearing into that string. So this is all about the basic introduction in Huffman coding. When I'm talking about the Huffman coding, the characters which occurs most frequently, they are having a least quotes. Means like for example, generally we used to find in the sentences, a letter is being used repeatedly. So due to which if it is being repeated frequently, then we can say it is generating a small length of a code. And the least frequent characters having a longest code, right? Just for example, if we are using Z, so into the case of Z and A, generally in most of the statements or the words or the characters, we are using a is a very common in comparison to Z, right? So due to which its code is smallest in the case of A, and if I'm talking about the letter Z, then it is having a longest code. So basically encoding reduces the average number of bytes that is being required to represent the characters in the string. This particular compression scheme is being used, you can say in a format of like JPG, JPEG, JPNG, MPEG, MPEG2 and so on. So there are the various compression schemes in which it is being used. If I'm talking about how the Huffman codes is being generated, right? First of all, what we need to do is we have to generate the Huffman codes and then we have to calculate the various things on the basis of that codes. So first of all, we have to create the Huffman tree. So in this lecture, first of all, we have to create the tree of the given question. Then we have to traverse the Huffman tree in which we have to generate the codes for the particular tree, right? Now, if I'm talking about the Huffman coding, there is an algorithm. First of all, we need to construct a Huffman tree by using the Huffman algorithm. What we need to do is we have to maintain a forest of trees where each tree contains a single node, right? So there are first step says we have to maintain the forest of trees, right? Forest of trees means each and every node is working as a single node, right? So first of all, we need to maintain. Each and every node is being assigned its value. Its value is in a term of time, space, weights basically. So we have to assign a certain value to that particular node. And after this, we have to repeat the step number 4 and 5 until 1 we are getting a single tree in our remain forest. Out of the complete forest trees, right? Forest of the trees. So we can say what we need to do is we have to repeat the step number 4 and 5 until and unless we reach to the single tree, one tree that remain exist in the all those descending orders. What we need to do is in step number 5, we have to select any two nodes in the forest which is having a smallest weights. And what we need to do, we have to combine both the trees into a one tree, which is called as a combining a weight of the individual trees, right? For example, if I say A is having a value 2, B is having a value, first of all, we have to arrange in a ascending or descending order, that is B having a weight 1 and A having a weight 2. We have arranged into a descending order. Then out of these, let's say we are having a C that is having a frequency is 3, weight is 3. So we have to take the two smallest trees which is having a minimum weight. Repeat this particular step number 4 and 5 until we reach to the one tree in the forest. Now let's begin with the numerical. The numerical says we have to construct a Hoffman tree with the given characters, with the given nodes. You can see that we are getting a n number of nodes in the tree, and out of all these nodes we are having a weights also, right? So out of all these weights, first of all, this is a forest tree. So what we have to do is we have to make a forest tree, and then we have to arrange all the nodes in a descending order. As we can say that H is having a least value. So what we need to write is H having a weight 1. Then after this we are having a weight 4, that is F 4. Then we are having a G and CB, B 6, then G 6, then 7. C is having a weight 7, then 8, 9. Then we are having a weight D, that is 12. Then we are having a weight I is having a weight 15. Then we are having a also, so A is also 15. And finally we are having a weight E, which is also having a weight 25, right? So similarly we have to arrange all the nodes in a descending order, right? After arranging into the descending order, so what we need to do is, first of all, we have to generate the tree over here. So now see, suppose if I am taking the minimum weights, right, from the previous question, if I can see that, if I can see from the previous question, I came to know that H and F, they are having a minimum weights, right? So out of these two nodes, what we need to do is H is having a weight 1 and F is having a weight 4. So what we need to do is we have to make the tree for H and F. So by combining 1 and 4, it becomes 5. H having a weight 1 and F having a weight 4, right? So this is the way how we are combining both the trees. After combining it, we can check from the previous question. Then the next weight is 6, but whatever the tree we are getting, it is as a 5. So we have to write B having a weight 6, right? This is the minimum. Then this is the main minimum weight. Then we have to combine with this value. Now the tree becomes 6 plus 5 equals to 11. This becomes 5. This becomes B and having a weight 6. B having a weight 1 and then F and 4, right? So similar way, what we need to do is we have to put this 11 tree onto that node in which the weight is coming in between. So what we need to do, we have to combine these two weights again, right? Because 6 and 7 are minimum in comparison to this 11, right? So what we need to do is G 6 and we know C 7, right? So 6 plus 7, what we need to do is, these are the minimum weights. So into that case, what we need to do is G and C will be combined. So it becomes 13. This is G and this is C. Similarly, after containing this, then we came to know that D is having a weight 12 and this comes is to be 11. So, into this case, what happens? We have to combine the next tree. Into this tree, what we need to do is, we have to combine this particular tree with the weight 12, right? So, this becomes 12 is for D, right? So, this becomes D, and after combining 12 plus 11, it becomes 23. So, we have to write here 23, right? Then after that, what we need to do is 15 plus 15. But before that, we are having a 13, right? So, what we need to do is, we have to combine the 13 with the 15, right? So, similarly, this is the way, and finally, we are reaching to the final tree. And after this, continuously processing it, then we can say we are generating a one tree, into which we are getting a tree as 91. This becomes I, this is D, right? And then this is B, then this is H, this is F, this is E, G, C, and finally A, right? So, this is the way how we have to generate the tree. So, finally, these whole circles is having a combination of the sums of the weights. Like we know that H and F, they are having a one weight, 1 and 4. So, we are writing here 5. So, in spite of writing 5, we are just making a holes that this is not a particular node. Now, what we need to do is we have to generate the codes. So, for generating the codes, what we need to do, on the left side of the tree, we have to write 0, and the right side of the tree, we have to write 1. So, if we started from the root node, we can see this is the left side. So, we will write 0. This is 1. Again, this is again as a root node, then we have to write 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, right? This is the way how you need to again and again write the 0 and 1. Then 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. This is the way how you need to generate the tree. Now, after generating this, what we need to do is, in the next step, after generating the tree, what we need to do is, we have to write the codes for the particular length, right? So, into this case, we can say if I am talking about the letter A, right? What is the length of the code A? 1, 1, 1. So, into this question, what we need to do is, for A, we have to write 3 times 1, right? Now, if I am talking about B, the B code is here. So, it becomes 0, 1, 0, 1, right? 0, 1, 0, 1, right? Then again for letter C, where is C? Here. So, we have to write 1, 1, 0, 1, right? 1, 1, 0, 1, right? Then after we have to write about D. When I am talking about D, 0, 1, 1, right? 0, 1, 1. Then we have to write about E. 1, 0, 1, 0. Then we have to write about F. F is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, right? So, we have to write 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. No, sorry. 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, F, right? Then we have to write for G. G becomes 1, 1, 0, 0. Then we have to write 1, 1, 0, 0. Then we have to write for H. For H, it becomes 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. 4 times 0, right? Then it becomes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then finally for I is 0, 0, right? This is the way how we need to calculate the Huffman codes for the particular letter, right? Now the next term is we have to calculate the average code length. For calculating the average code length, what we need to do is we have to generate the probabilities. So we know the probabilities is already given in the question, that A is having a probability of 0.15 times, or it is given as 15 in the question. So this is the way how we have to convert the probabilities. Now for calculating the average code length, what we need to do is we have to multiply the probability with the number of characters. It is 3 plus 0.06 into 0101. Then again plus 0.07 into 4 plus 0.12 into 0.12 into 3, right? Plus 0.25 into 2 plus 0.04 into 5 plus 0.06 into 4, then 0.01 into 6 plus 0.15 into 2. Again here also you need to write 4, right? After generating this length, what we need to do is we have to divide with the total number of characters, right? So into this case we can find in the given forest we are having an 8 characters from A to I, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So we are having a 9 characters. So into this case we have to divide it by the 9. So finally we are getting the average code length, right? This is the way how we need to generate the average code length. Now after generating the average code length, one more question comes here. We have to decode the given message, right? If it is given in the question that we have to decode the given message. For example, if they give you in the question as right, they have given you the one question that this particular string is given and they ask you to decode the message, right? So this particular is being given to decode the message. Into this we know that we have already calculated the Huffman codes for the given characters, right? So for these characters we have to decode this particular code. How we need to decode this particular code? We need to check we are getting a 111 initially. So into this 111 we are getting a one letter, that is A. You can see, right? With the help of the 111 we are getting a letter A. Now next we have to check 0100. Okay? So into this case 3 times 0. So we are getting the code as 0, 1, 4 times 0. So we will write H, right? Fine. After that we are having a code 10. Yes, it belongs to E, right? So we have to write E. Then after that we are getting a 111, that is A, right? And then after that 011 we are getting the code as D. So we have to write D. After generating this particular code, we came to know that we are getting a message as a head. Clear? So this is the way how we need to decode the given message with the help of the generated Huffman codes. First of all, we have to generate the codes, and then only we have to calculate the average code length, as well as we can easily decode the message. This is the way how the Huffman code is being working, which is the one of the application of binary tree. Now, after this, we are going to talk about the next application, that is a threaded binary tree. As we all know, what do you mean by the term binary tree? A binary tree, if most of the nodes is having either a 0 child or 1 child, right? So, into that case, what happens when we are talking about the next child? Generally, we are talking about in the case of 0 or 1 child. So, what happens then in the linked list, we would represent the, we are representing the pointers with the help of the null links, right? Suppose we are having like tree, suppose this is the way I am having a tree A, B, so, and C. Into this particular binary tree, if I am talking about A, having an address of B node, because it is left child, then having a node address of C node, because it is right child. But in the case of this B and C, what happened if I am talking about its left child, it consists of null because there is no left child, and similarly there is no right child, so it will consist of null. And similarly with the node C, having a null on the left and the right child. So basically in the case of the linked list representation, in the case of threaded binary tree, most of the links are to be null than the actual pointers. So in the case of the threaded binary tree, we are utilizing these address fields, and the null links is being replaced with the threads to the other nodes, in which in spite of storing a null pointer, we are replacing that particular null field with the help of the threads to the other nodes. Here, when I am talking about the left link, null link load of particular node, it is being replaced by the in order predecessor, right? And the right null link load is being replaced by the in order successor. So, as we know, when I am talking about the link in order, we know that in the case of in order, we have to write the left child, then we have to write the root node, and then we have to talk about the right child. Am I right? So, into this case, if I am talking about this particular node, right? So, this particular node, if I am replacing the left link, so we have to replace it with its predecessor. So, who comes first? No one. So, we have to again store null. But when I am talking about its next node, it comes out to be, if I write the in order of this particular tree is BAC. So, in the case of B, there is no left node. So, left null is not being replaced by its predecessor. But in the case of this, we can replace the thread with the help of this node, right? And similarly, the right link, it is its successor. Who is the successor of B? That is A. So, we have to replace the thread with the B. Similarly, in the case of C, if I am talking about the left link load, it is being threaded with the help of the node A. So, this particular is in spite of null, we have to fill the address of A node. But here also in the same condition. So, this is the way how the threaded binary tree works. When I am talking about the threaded binary tree, you can see this is the way how we need to maintain the threaded binary tree. Suppose this particular tree is given to you. First of all, you have to write the in order of the tree, and into the in order, then you have to generate the threads for a particular tree. Now, when I am talking about the different types of threaded binary tree, there are the three types of threaded binary tree is left threaded binary tree, right threaded binary tree, and fully threaded binary tree. When I am talking about the left threaded binary tree, it says we have to generate the threads only on the left side nodes. In spite of replacing the right null, we are only replacing the left nulls, right? In which we have to create the threads for a particular node with the help of the in order predecessor. Similarly, in vice versa in the case of right threaded node. And in the case of the fully threaded binary tree, we have to generate the threads on both the sides with the help of the left as well as of the right in order predecessor and successor nodes. When I am talking about the memory representation of the threaded binary tree, first of all, we have to write the pointer to the left child, and similarly then we have to mention which is the left bit of that particular node. Then we have to write the data, whatever the node it represents. Then we have to write the right bit and the pointer of the right child. This is the way how the memory representation is being taken place. To differentiate between the threads and the normal pointers, what we need to do is we have two additional fields, that is a left bit and right bit is being added to the particular node. If the node has left child, then we have to set the left bit as 1, otherwise we have to put 0, right? Similarly, you can see I have given you one example. In this tree, if I am talking about its right subtree, there is no in this left side there is no predecessor. So into that case, what we need to do is we have to put the value 0 into the left bit because it indicates only the values, right? So, and if the right node, if the node is having a right child, then we have to set the right bit as 1, otherwise we have to set the 0. This is the way how we need to represent the data into the memory. When I am talking about the threaded binary, this particular can be used to achieve faster traversal with the limited stack space. Thank you. So, in this lecture, we have discussed about the Huffman coding as well as the threaded binary tree. Thank you.